Welcome to Behind the Launch. My name is Peter, and today we are sitting down with Chris Heatman to talk about the major problem of slow website loading, which greatly impacts your Google rankings, and also how to fix this and make your site faster by 500%. There's also a great monetizing opportunity in this to provide this service to other customers. This show is all about doing honest interviews with successful online entrepreneurs discussing business opportunities and making money online. So if you're interested in this space, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications, making sure you don't miss any episodes. If you guys enjoy this show and the content we provide, hit that like button to let us know just that and share the video, which will really help us grow. Feel free to start a conversation in the comment section to keep this interactive. Now on with the show. Hi Chris, and welcome to the show.
Hello.
Fantastic. Thanks for making the time to join us here today. Before we dive into the nitty-gritties, just tell us a bit about yourself and a bit of a background.
Yeah, of course. I started in IT, so my background is information technology, selling computers and breaking computers, fixing computers. I've done that for the best part of I think it's coming on to 15 years. That's before I came into internet marketing and software sales. My partner's background, oddly enough, is software engineering and 10 years worth of WordPress development. And that's the kind of reason why we do what we do right now.
Okay. Well, cool. So let's dive into it. What is the problem we are facing today and we want to address today?
Okay. So WP Optimiser is a tool that's generated to fix a key problem that's WordPress speed. Now, what most people don't realize is that WordPress sites fundamentally by their nature are slow because they're not serving the page raw. That page is being compiled, is being built. It's being built from what you put in your post or your page. It's being built from your theme. It's being built from the number of plugins that you've got, from the widgets that you've got running. So every time basically somebody accesses or requests a page on your browser, that page has to be individually built from its raw components, including all the images that you upload. That's a nice thing because it gives WordPress a lot of flexibility. The bad thing, of course, basically overall is speed. If somebody loads up a whole pile of images straight from the camera into WordPress, they're going to be fat. They're going to be thick with code. They're going to be higher than normal graphical resolution for a website to roll. So those kind of things basically individually one by one will stack up and start slowing your site down. WordPress also stores everything in a database. Every time you make a revision in a post or a page, that stores an extra page in its database. That starts bloating the database, which means things start getting slower as well. That's quite common. And of course, no one really knows whether the hosting they're on is efficient either, whether that's correctly set up, whether the PHP is the versions are running are not out of date or maybe too new for what you're running. There's loads of little things basically which affect site speed, and to date that hasn't really been too much of a concern, albeit Google has a while back basically posted an algorithm to say if your sites are not fast, it will be one of the ranking factors.
Okay.
So all the top marketers, or certainly basically all the top agencies, whether in paid traffic, know that anything that they do online, especially with paid traffic, they have got to present that to a fast page, because if you've got a page that loads in over 4 seconds, you're starting to lose approximately 10% of your traffic for every second. Basically, your site starts loading slower.
Yeah.
There is massive visitor impatience as well. I don't know if you're like, basically, I'm certainly quite bad at this. If I'm waiting for something to load, I've got like page rage, so it's gone. I'll be patient to a certain degree, on my PC because I've got fast internet connection, but I won't be patient on one of these. It's if something's taking forever to load, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the
So sorry to interrupt. That actually leads into my question is on the speed. So you've talked about the bad habits that people follow on a WordPress site to clog it down. So yeah, why is it the problem? And you did mention Google will introduce a new algorithm that will downrank your SEO, but even before that Google announcement, why would it be a problem for people's sites to be like slow?
of course.
Yeah.
Well, these things are fundamentally slow in terms of the connectivity. Certainly a lot slower. They're not running on 100 meg basically of fiber.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they're running over the airways. So what Google said late on last year is we've done our algorithm on the PCs. However, if the sites are still slow, if they're loading with bloated graphics and stuff like that, they're going to be fundamentally slow, and they're giving users bad experience on mobile devices. So as of July this year, they are essentially putting a fundamental new algorithm change, which means basically if you're running slow on a mobile device, basically we are going to disrank you. And that affects 52% plus and growing of all your traffic. So if you've got a blog, that's 52% of all your visitors basically are going to be affected by that particular algorithm change. It's pretty serious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite imperative to go and start looking at these things, especially with view that you're losing traffic, especially in view that your conversion is going to be lower, and worse still if you're doing paid advertising.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're sending people to a page which is taking 5 seconds to load, if you're losing some of the traffic, the first thing that's happening is you're paying a lot more money for each advertisement. That makes any sense, yeah?
Yeah. So on the desktop side, there's this 3-second rule that if you don't load within 3 seconds, you're gone. I mean, the same applies actually to a phone as well. Even though a phone, people kind of want to see it faster. But like I say, that's going to have a huge impact from a Google perspective and ranking your site.
Well, that's the thing, you might be okay. You look at your site on your desktop and it might load in 5 seconds. If you look at it on the mobile, it might load in 20. And Google says that's not really a good thing for our user experience, and that's why we're going to change the algorithm. So it's more essential than ever now to go and start compressing your graphics. It's more essential than ever now to go and clean up your database. It's more essential than ever now, especially for the long pages, to use what they call lazy load or image on demand software. Because that's going to make your page faster to the bot and also the user, which means basically it's going to give them a much better user experience, which means you're going to get higher ranking, which means you're going to outrank your competitor, which means you're going to get higher up in Google, which means you're going to get more traffic and more profit.
Okay. Like you mentioned, it's kind of like a deadline in July when Google rolls out the new algorithm.
Yeah.
So how do we fix this? How do we get there?
Well, we've done a 2-step fix to this, and we're starting off with one product which is called WP Optimiser, which does 6 fundamental key fixes. The primary ones really that do the majority of the work are things like image compression. Now, these products there's other products available for image compression. We've put everything basically under one umbrella to do that for you. So it's going to scan your site, find out basically what your images are. If not compressed, it's going to send them to a compression, and the software essentially will do 500 images per month for you for free. For each site you own or for each API basically you create, which is a pretty generous quota, which means essentially it's just going to clean up your sites, and that's going to kill anything between about 50 and 70% of your site's dead weight or your load time. So if you're running tests like Pingdom, it's going to bring your speed check up, and it's also going to shave 2, maybe 3 seconds basically of your typical load time. Important thing to do. Again, if you're running loads of images, we've got things like lazy load that rolls through. Now, again, these things are available, on other places. There are plugins available for free, but there's certain things that you will not get from other products that you will get from us. For example, we do theme and we do plugin profiling. Now, there's only one product in the market that does plugin profiling, and it's now 3 years deprecated. It's been left alone. No one's touched it. Nothing on the market does theme profiling. What that means really is how much time or how much delay does your theme give you, in your overall speed, and how much delay do your plugins or each of your individual plugins make. You might find basically when you do the profile that you've got a theme that takes 3 seconds to load, and that's horrendous. You might want to take that out and change it entirely, because that's going to change your whole approach in terms of how you do your business. Yeah. You may find that you have 2 or 3 plugins in there that are unusually high, or delay your site by half a second at a time. You may want to take those out entirely. If that makes any sense. So those things basically we're going to help you with. We've got things like site health checks, which look out from your server perspective and see how well your server is configured, how well your site's configured, and your hosting is configured. So it will do a measurement to see basically what your memory is like, basically how much usage basically there is on a daily basis. How far away are you from your resource limits in your hard drive? How fast your connectivity is to four continents. Are you running the right version or the wrong version, or a deprecated version of your PHP? All these things are going to have an effect basically on your site's performance. And those are the kind of things that our plugin is geared to patch, and it's also geared to do that to inform you on a daily basis when you have a problem. So rather than you having to go and do the work, it will do the work for you. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
We built in an auto optimizer, which means you don't have to optimize each image individually. The minute you upload it to your media manager, it's optimized.
Okay. So basically that saves you a lot of time.
Yeah.
If you get an image, you don't have to resize it or try and get then you can upload it straight from your phone, and then it will optimize it when it's on your site, and then reduce the size automatically. That's a huge time saver.
Yeah, it's you change nothing. You enable the plugin. If you already got graphics in there, it will allow you to post retrospectively scan the graphics you've got and optimize those. It will automatically start optimizing your database the minute you're switching on. Nothing for you to do, or you can do a manual optimization when you first start as well of your database. Yeah. The health check, it will do an automatic health check for you the minute you go in. And if you want it to do a daily health check for you, just flick a switch. And after that, you leave it the hell alone. If you upload a new graphic, it's going to optimize the graphic for you. Why should you do the extra work?
Yes.
And that's the objective of what we've done, is we're trying to eliminate the extra steps, the extra work, the extra aggro, because we haven't got time. I haven't got time. Okay. I don't want to optimize graphics individually. Hell no.
Yes.
I just want to I just want to upload it to my site and be done with it.
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds brilliant. So you simply install the plugin. We'll get into how difficult it is to configure in a sec. But you configure it, and then it's like an antivirus scanner. It's on there. It will constantly check your site, constantly optimize it, clean up the database, clean up old review pages. You just leave it and it will run.
It keeps running. It keeps looking at your site, your site environment, and reporting your site environment back to you. Any new graphic that you upload, it will optimize automatically for you. You don't need to worry about it. You don't even need to go into the plugin settings. Just upload as normal. What we wanted to do when creating this is not to change your user behavior. Is to allow people to work the sites as they would do normally. Yeah. And we'll just do the work behind the scenes.
Okay. And on the configuration, how difficult is it to configure?
There's nothing to configure.
Just enable, upload plugin, and activate it.
Literally just enable. You'll be asked basically when you enable it to go and select the amount of data that you want left behind in your revisions, and you can select whether it's 1 week, 4 weeks, or whatever. You can enable the site scanner, so it will just keep prompting you basically for any problems on your site health. If you've got any bulk images, you've got to go in there once. That's it, and it'll optimize them for you basically in chunks. So you just got to go and do that. And you might want to do two buttons in your manual optimization. So essentially, it could be 4 or 5 clicks.
Yeah.
At best.
Okay, that sounds great. But the question is, How well does this work? I mean, what kind of testing and what kind of sites has this been tested on?
Well, we've on the sales page, you'll see basically every single site we tested it on, and there's heaps of them.
Hmm.
They've been tested on commercial sites rather than marketing sites. And the reason why we tested them on commercial sites because these people are reliant on these things to making money. We got someone who's using it on a $100,000 a month site. So we've done a lot of testing in terms of the product stability. We've also made sure basically that each of the singular elements basically within the product itself works. It scans automatically any variables that you've got on your site as well, which is quite unusual for a plugin because there's so many different versions of PHP, and it will tell you what's going to cause you the problem or what you should do to fix it. It's essentially it's a self-diagnosing plugin.
Yeah.
With that respect, we built that specifically because of the number of sites and the number of variables you're going to be working in.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah. So like a intelligent software analyzing your site all the time.
Yeah, it is, and people basically that buy it will see it. We'll see it do its intelligent stuff literally straight away. If something's not quite right, it will tell you.
Okay. Cool. So let's get into the actual price points. What will this be selling for? And
okay, that's a good question. We know it. We want to sell it for under $50 on the agency side, and we want to sell it for under $30 on the personal. The two versions will be a bit different. The personal will have a 25 site maximum site license, and that's a one-off fee. If you want to buy the next version up whenever we release it for a year down the road, you can. So it might be a higher price. Just bear that in mind. The agency allows you unlimited site use, and also allows you to go and install it on client sites and charge for the installation and charge for the software if you like. It's essentially you are the agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wanted to bypass the whole. This is the developer. So you got the personal developer thing. We kind of think it's a bit of a faux pas to have a developer version and then charge someone basically more for an agency. So it's either personal or developer as far as we can concerned. The developer will be an annual recurring. You can cancel that any time. But with that respect, if you're locking in the lowest price that will ever be, because this product it's going to go to commercial. It's going to go commercial at the late. It's either the third or the fourth quarter of this year. When we go commercial, the price will be a lot higher, and those people basically that will be locked in at the lowest price, so that they'll be granddaddied in.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So, I mean, we're talking about the agency or the developer license, which you can do multiple other sites. So, I mean, I believe most people watching is interested in business opportunities and all that. And I mean, I'm thinking, how easy is it to approach someone, tell them your site is loading in 9 seconds, I can reduce it to 3 or less than or 2 seconds. But on that, what kind of price can you ask, or can you ask like a recurring price to keep their site optimized, even though it's automatically done by the software?
Well, our recommendation is that people charge their clients a fee for installation of the software and configuration, basically one-off, which should only take a few minutes. As a fee for the software itself, from an agency perspective. Your choice what the fee is. We don't recommend you charge any more than that the retail price will be in the future. And the retail price more than likely will be just under $100. So essentially, when you think about it, you can be charging $100 fee basically for the product and maybe a $50 fee for the installation. And you should then be at least charging then $100 recurring for each year, because the product needs to be updated. The PHP changes, WordPress changes. So all these kind of things basically are factored in.
Okay, and the great thing is you immediately see results, or your customer will immediately see results.
Yes.
And when the yearly recurring payment comes along, it's a no-brainer for them. So that's an awesome opportunity. Let's talk about, is there any one-time offers that people can expect?
There will be some coupons on page, at least for the first few days, which will be active. So the people that are in early, they'll have access to extra coupons on page. Keep an eye on the timers and the coupons because they will expire. And we'll have the offer open for 7 days at least. So obviously, basically, the early people are going to get the best deals, but we're going to try to keep the best deals open as long as we can.
Yeah.
Certainly, basically towards the obviously towards the close of the 7 days, we're going to be starting to remove the coupons.
Okay, cool. Can I send some of these coupons out to my guys?
Yeah. The coupons will be on page as well. So it's essentially anybody promoting it basically doesn't have to worry about them. We'll just look after those. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, you can put them in your mails if you like. Just bear in mind if you put them in the mail, that coupon might expire.
Yeah.
So it's always best to go and check on page.
Yes. Okay. No, cool. So that's it. The WP Optimiser, and you either can get it for your personal business or your personal website, individual license, which is a once-off fee, and then you can do agency where you can do this on a lot of other websites and basically start your own company optimizing other people's websites. So other than that, there's no other upsells that can be expected.
In the funnel, we've got speed products. So what we created in the funnel is the first upgrade will be a cache. Now most people are familiar with caching, and this is the thing we're talking about: WordPress creating its own, having to generate each page at a time. A cache essentially stops that. The reason why we built that separately is because we want people to do the optimization first and then do the caching. A lot of the times, basically, when we have looked at products which are combination products, people do switch on the cache and then they do the optimizing. Hang on. Cache generates a blueprint of your thing afterwards. It just makes no sense. So we've created a separate cache, and we've looked at the caches in the market out there. And there's been a great review in January this year of all the cache products. And the top paying cache product right now, or the top paid cache product, is about $97. And it's not necessarily faster than the free ones, which is, what? If I'm going to be paying for something, I want it to be fast. If I'm going to be paying for something, I want it to have an advantage. So we created a cache which has picked the best of the cache features basically from many of the caches basically out there, but it's not bloated. The problem with a lot of cache products is you've got complicated settings. You tick one setting, it'll break your site. Some people basically that will be watching will be quite familiar with that, especially if they use some of the free ones. So that's not ideal. And we also found some bugs with some caching software which we fixed. Essentially, we recoded entirely, which means basically our product is one of the fastest caches basically out there. So speed is one. The cool and cute thing we've done as well is most caches try to preload a site, and this is a little bit techie for you. When you preload a page, you use a huge amount of bandwidth. So if you've got a site with 20, 30, 100, 50, 1,000 pages, it's going to eat up your bandwidth on the preloading, because if you clear your cache and then try to preload it, it means it's got to generate a ready page for 10,000 pages. And you can imagine basically what's going to happen to your processor load through the roof. It's nonsensical. So we built a smart preloading feature which looks at the most recent pages that you use, most common pages basically that are being hit. It preloads those. The rest can be preloaded as the user goes in. Why should you use the bandwidth? So that's a smart feature. You can disable it on any page that you want. So if you've got a checkout page, for example, you might want to disable cache on that page if that's what you want. It's a smart. You've got to have that option. And also, what we've done is we've checked the database of the most common site harassers and scanners and bots. Because what we don't want is those people going onto our site using our bandwidth unnecessarily, because again, that slows down our site. And with our cache, we have essentially like an antivirus update, if you like, running through, which is built in. and that's injected into your site itself. So when you get bad bots visiting your particular site and they're known, they get kicked before they visit. It's
Okay.
booted before the site goes in.
Okay.
So there's some clever stuff, clever features basically that we do with this cache entirely. But the best thing of all, really, it's a one-click enable. Really, there is a few functions in there which you can turn off if you run into trouble. But by default, we got them all switched on. And our instruction video says, look, leave it. Switch it on. That's all you need to do. Test your site. If it all works well, you're golden. If it doesn't, switch all the functions off and turn them on one by one. There's only 7 of them, which is not complicated. So unlike other products where you got like 30 pages of settings, yes. we've got the most simple way of doing it for you.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So that's the first upgrade. That caching. What's that called? Is it a separate plugin?
It's Viper Cache.
Viper Cache.
So that's a product that we've got in the funnel. Another upgrade we have is a product called WP Easy Pages. We should have really called it WP Fast Pages because it's what that product does is nothing to what's ever been seen before on the market. That is essentially a page builder specifically built for paid traffic or for any kind of opt-ins, lead gen pages. And the reason why it works so well is because it bypasses all your WordPress themes and plugin CSS. Now that technically means it does a all-round trip, and it stops all that code loading. So the user just loads the page quick. And in our tests, every single one of the page templates that we created, we've got a template pack to go with it, loads in approximately 1 second or under a second.
Oh.
There's nothing basically out there on the market basically where you've got a page builder with your opt-in, your squeeze pages, your sales pages, your JP pages, whatever, that you can honestly turn around and say is going to load in under a second. Ours will. Ours does.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
And we'll prove it.
So
if you
just a question on that. So say if you're on your squeeze page, you put a video in there, will that kind of have the same results?
Yes, I mean video is basically iframes generally. It's you got to understand basically how video works. So it's the call will be made to, let's just say, YouTube or to Wistia or to Vimeo, and that video will just play. But the objective of the whole frame and everything else around it within our plugin is going to bypass the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's just going to show you the raw page, and that's really the key.
Yes.
We kind of think it makes absolute bloody nonsense to go and generate a landing page builder for WordPress, where you have to load everything, every part of your theme code and every part of your plugins code.
Yes.
Because it's never going to get used. So you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, and there's things like JavaScripts and all sorts that load in there. All these things are problematic basically when it comes to generating decent pages. So our builder is geared to be thin, and it's geared to be quick. And on the sales video, people are going to see basically how fast really a landing page should load. In fact, we may even have a paid traffic campaign. Where three of the pages basically that we've got in there are from our multi-million-dollar paid traffic campaign. So you'll see the exact same templates being used in multi-million-dollar basically traffic campaigns. Okay. Exact same ones, not different, not modified, exact same template.
Yeah.
So that's how we based it. That's why we built it.
Okay, cool. Sounds fantastic. And what's this fast page builder called?
WP Easy Pages.
Easy Pages, but you should have called it Fast Pages. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
No,
probably. It's when we started it, we wanted to make the page builder easy. When we figured out that the most important thing really was actually page speed. Yeah. The object of building the pages is fine, but everybody's got a reasonably good page builder. There's plenty of those basically for WordPress, and they're amazing. But no one really has conquered the objective of speed, and this is a speed funnel. Nice. So that's why we built it.
Okay, cool. Chris, is that everything that we can expect? So number one is the WPress or WP Optimiser. Then next up is your what's that for the
Viper cache.
caching? Viral cache?
Yeah, Viper cache.
Viper cache, and
then it's
WP easy
WPs,
page.
WPs pages.
Cool.
We have got one final thing that's come from the paid traffic sector, and that's what I call dynamic pages for WordPress. Now, that's a clever widget. So once you've got your pages built in something like Easy Pages, when you're doing things like split test for paid traffic, the conventional way of generating a split test page is duplicate the page, right? Edit the bits, and you've got another page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, yeah. Let's just say you're doing a paid traffic campaign for 30 or 40 keywords. That's a bit of duplicating that you're going to be doing, right?
Yeah.
That's a duplicate content. That's a duplicate content penalty in WordPress unless you detune those pages or disrank them in Google, which you can do. So for each of those pages, you're going to have to go and build it, edit it, disrank it, and then start again. With dynamic pages, it's going to allow you to put keywords or essentially it's little shortcodes within the page itself instead of the word you want to use, and all you need to do is edit the URL. All right, those words will appear in the URL. A default word will appear in the URL for the word you want to substitute, and you can create 40 keyword relevant landing pages on the fly.
Nice. So essentially, it's the same page, but keywords just get changed based on the URL you're using.
Yeah, dynamic pages basically. I mean, Google uses dynamic pages, and then Google Calendars, for example. Amazon uses dynamic pages as well. It's the fastest way of generating a split test page without doing all the duplication, without getting a duplicate content penalty, without doing all that smart stuff. You can have not just one word. You can have a whole sentence that will change. So it's the idea is fast, easy landing pages basically for your split tests. It's the thing that you need to be doing if you're running like a 10 keyword campaign. You'll be running like 20 or 30 keywords in a campaign, maybe more typically. And you don't want to be doing those individually. You don't want to be duplicating those. You don't want to be cluttering up your database. You just cleaned it. Makes sense, yeah?
Yeah. So, I mean, so you say it's for the split testing. So is there an analytics built into it, or do you still need to use it like an external ClickMagick or something like that?
You'll still need to use a separate analytics software. This whole thing is about dynamic pages. It's not so much about tracking.
Okay.
I mean, there are so many good tracking pieces of software out there. We didn't want to replicate that within WordPress because remember, when you're doing analytics as well, all right, you're still going to be actively tying up your database, right? We want fast pages, mate. We want all the garbage, all that stuff that works behind it, away from our sites. We don't want it intrinsically doing the task at hand, and that's where a lot of people get stuff wrong.
So do the analytics from outside keep your sites tidy and fast. No
always and always. It's for example, if you're running WordFence, don't turn on the traffic monitoring for Christ's sake, because that ties up the database. So we're speed engineers. We want your sites to work to load fast, because that's going to generate you the best results basically in search engines. That's going to lower your ad spend, and for the cost of what we're doing in terms of what you're buying stuff at, you're paying a minimal fee to get really fast fast results, and that's the whole objective. It's there to get you much better results.
Nice. Okay. No, cool. And that's in the final upsell. What's that called for this dynamic pages?
Conversion boost. WP conversion boost.
WP conversion boost. Okay, cool. Chris, before we wrap this up, is there anything else you want to mention? Maybe words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom, well, run your sites fast, run your sites secure, make sure your plugins are up to date, make sure you don't use too many plugins, make sure you use good hosts, okay? Make sure you use quality themes and plugins, and you'll be able to tell that with WP Optimiser, by the way, because we'll scan stuff for you, and you'll know. So just saying, you've got to start taking accountability and responsibility for your sites, your site performance, your site speed, your site security. Start taking action basically with reference to speed, because you've got 6 months to go and get this stuff right before Google slaps it down, and they will slap it down. And bottom line is the companies and the people that have got good, decent, fast loading sites will get higher rankings than the ones that don't. So it's either you win or you either lose. And for the sake of what the price of the product is going to be, it should be a no-brainer for you. If you're treating it as a business, you've got recurring income from it. That's a no-brainer for you as well. It's a sensible tool or sensible practice to use.
Yeah.
We're in the best practice business. That's what we do.
Okay, fantastic. Chris, I want to thank you again for joining us today. And yeah, thanks for all the awesome information. I mean, it was a bit deep, but it just shows you how deep this whole WordPress thing actually goes and what you need to be aware of. But simple plugins like the ones you guys are creating is taking care of all that concerns.
That's what we do. We want to make life easier.
Yeah.
Our job is not to make your life difficult or our users' life difficult. Our job is to make our users' life easier and to have much faster, much slicker running sites.
Okay, no, awesome. Chris, thanks again. Just for a reminder for the guys, it's launching on the 10th of Feb at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, WordPress Optimiser. And yeah, I'll be sure to remind you guys. Chris, thanks again, and all the best with the launch.
Thank you, mate.
Okay, bye-bye. And there you have it, guys. Brand new technology that focuses on the 6 biggest issues with slow websites. So click the link below to pick this up for yourself or take advantage of this business opportunity to create an agency and offer this as an easy sell service to your customers. I want to thank you for watching till the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, please hit that like button and we will see you next time.